welcome back to another episode with the Shed King. Today we're going to go through a goelbys 3RZ turbo kit. Exactly what comes in the kit, what you need and what you don't need. Righto, let's do it. Righto guys, so we're going to start from the top here. Start at the turbo. This is the key to the whole build. And this is another 30 series Garrett Gen 2 3071. Now you four-wheel drive guys out there, this would be my go-to turbo with a 0.83 rear. If you want, see this is where you're going to get stuck. With the 0.83 rear, you're probably limited to like 450, 400 horsepower. If you were to go a 1.06, you can go 500 and up. Me and Andrew have both tested this with similar size turbos, and both had bad results with back pressure. At 26 psi, he was getting 64 psi back pressure, which is a hell of a lot of air trying to get out of this area, and it just wasn't happening. So go with the 1.06 rear for anything 500 above. Now this kit I think was just over 4,000 bucks, and you're wondering what do I get for $4,000? Well, the turbo, you get the exhaust manifold, so it's a 6-boost exhaust manifold with the T3 flange. Pretty sure you get a nut and bolt kit with it. You get the elbow 90 welded on for your wastegate. You also get supplied with a wastegate. This one is a 45 hypergate, so Turbo Smart hypergate, top of the line. It doesn't get much better than this, guys. Literally the best of the best parts. So in the kit you receive a turbo manifold, turbo, a wastegate, a beanie if you're lucky, and a couple of V-band clamps and things like that. Now that's all you get in the kit. There's going to be a lot of other things you need, and we'll go through that right now. Next part is the fuel system. Now this is exactly the same fuel pressure regulator I use. It's an FPR 800 by Turbo Smart, and you would have seen in the turbo install video how this all works, how it all goes together. And I've had numerous people ask me lately how do you adjust it. Basically, got to have the car running, take the vacuum line off, unloosen this nut at the top here, and with the Allen key, or this one, you use an Allen key at the top, and you wind it out or in to increase and decrease the fuel pressure using the gauge to see what you need. Now I set my base fuel pressure without the vacuum line on at 45 psi. Now this can go by case in car. Some of them like 50 psi, some of them like 45 psi. You really need an AFR gauge under full load to sort of monitor that. But anyway, that is the fuel pressure regulator. You'll also need this bad boy, which is TS0402-1002. Now it's a Toyota Subaru fuel rail adapter, and basically it's just 11mm tube with an O-ring on it that fits in there. Bolt it down to your fuel rail and hook up your fuel line from the other side. You would have seen that in the video as well. Now there's also a whole heap of fittings that you need. So in the kit you don't actually you don't get all the fittings you need, and I want to run you through some of them right now. So what we use for the oil line is a 1/8 MPT to -4 oil fitting, and basically at that bolt that I was talking about under where the oil filter is, there's the housing on the back side. You take out the 22mm bolt at the back, drill a hole in it, tap a 1/8 MPT, boost, you're done in there. Oil feed from there, so it's a -4 line goes to the top of the turbo to a 90, so it's a Teflon line, which is this here. The Teflon line -4 into a 90, into a -4 into the top of the turbo. I don't know what the fitting is there. I think it's this is it here, 7/16-24. So that's the actual fitting that you need for the top of the turbo. So that's your oil line sorted. You also have your coolant lines, which are these ones here. So it's a banjo bolt that goes into the side of the turbo. Now the banjo itself is an M14 by 1.5 pitch thread. Also comes with 2 aluminium or copper washers, depending on what you want. And that goes either side of the turbo for the coolant lines. I'll show you guys how to do that in the other video. So that's it there. I'm going to take a photo of all the parts here so you guys can see it in the video. All the water lines, oil lines, and all the bits you need for that. You're probably going to need an oil drain as well. So I think he's got here a Sonic Performance or whatever. You can buy these online, they're pretty generic. Like I generally make my own oil drains. You can go full crazy, but it's usually just a 16mm hose, which is this hose here. You need about 600mm to a metre of it, depending on your turbo location. And it basically hooks up to the bottom of the turbo, it goes down to the sump. Now the sump, I'll show you in a sec. So this is the sump, this being the front of the engine, that being the back. Your drain plugs down here. Now what I usually do is next to the engine mount, I'll find a spot where I can drill and weld a fitting into there, and I'll put it between the 2 bolts. Don't put it where the bolt is, because you'll never get the bolt in. So I usually put it in between the bolts there, and that's as basic as it gets. We do offer an exchange, so if you want one, we can supply you with one 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive, and then you just got to send us your one as an exchange. Anyway, so that's the whole turbo side. Now let's talk about the intake side and the intercooler pipe. Hi guys, just thought I'd make it worth a mention. You're going to need some vacuum line from your front of your turbo to your wastegate. You're going to need some vacuum line to go from your, like if you have a gauge or anything like that. Your fuel pressure regulator is going to need some vacuum line. So 3 meters, you'll end up using it, trust me, just get it. He's also got some clamps here for his fuel line, and I believe it's a 5/16 fuel line. So that's the other thing I forgot to mention. So probably about 1.5 meters, 2 meters will get you out of trouble. And same as your coolant lines, about 1.5 meters will get you where you need to be with your coolant lines. This is basically it's a gasket kit. So you've got your this is what I'd recommend to get because they're fairly cheap and they just give you everything you need. So in this kit you get your valve cover, spark plug socket covers, the seals. So they go inside the valve cover. It's worth replacing them when you do it, and also replace your valve cover gasket. This kit also comes with the exhaust manifold and intake manifold gaskets. Well worth getting. It's just good to change it all while you're there. That way you know everything's Mickey Mouse and there's no leaks. Alright, we'll go on to intercooler stuff. So we'll go from the hot side to the cold side, and basically it's a 2" to 2.5 or 2" to 2", whatever you want, out of the turbo down to the intercooler. So on this intercooler, this is an old XR6 turbo intercooler off of Barra. He picked this up off his mate for next to nothing. This is what we're going to use. This is probably good for 200 horsepower, and that's it. I wouldn't put anything more through it. So basically, it's going to come out of the turbo into the intercooler through a straight bit of pipe there. I'm probably going to cut this and rotate it around, and then it will come out that side 90 again. So it will be one of these 90 back into the radiator support up. So you want to go a 90 up, which is what he's got here. So it's just something he's grabbed off one of his mates. So he goes 90 up, and this piece here, this is actually quite interesting because he just randomly grabbed this and it's going to work. So we just got to cut it here and rotate this around, and well, that will actually work quite well. So it's going to go around and into the throttle body there. You will need a 16mm for the stock ECU. You'll need a 16mm barb fitting to go into there to connect your idle control valve, and this basically rotated around will point it back down. So as it comes out of the intercooler, it will come up, in, and straight into the engine. And it's that simple. Also got a pod filter for the front of the turbo. We've got a 4" to 3" reducer with a 45-degree bend. Just a few other things there to connect it up. You're going to need a lot of clamps and a few other things. And that's basically the rundown of that, guys. It's fairly simple. It's got a few other extra pieces here and there, so that if we need them, we need them. If we don't, we don't. He's just grabbed it off his mate. It's sweet. And then we're going to talk about the exhaust. So this is all you really need to make a dump pipe. 2 90-degree bends will get you down the back of the turbo and into your old exhaust. Now, if you're not confident with this, guys, you can go to an exhaust shop and get it done. So you can effectively put all your bolt, everything on, get it all running, and then trailer it down or tow it down to your exhaust shop, and they can do it for you. And it's really that simple. So you just need the V-band, you need 2 flanges, flange bolt, and it's just 90 into your old exhaust. On this occasion, he already has a 2.5" exhaust, or 2 3/4. 2.5 inch exhaust. So that is probably going to restrict him to later on down the track if he wanted to ever turn it up. So I recommend anything around the 500 mark, go a 3" exhaust. Anything above that, 3.5" to 4". And then I'd also put a flex pipe from the back of the turbo down to the bottom of the dump, and I put a flex pipe in there because where you join into the rest of your exhaust system, it's all hard mounted. So what happens is the engine's rocking around and moving because it's on rubber mounts, and you'll need something to take away that flex. So that's why I use that. I think on this build we're going to be using a screamer pipe, but we'll just see how that goes. I think it's going to happen. I've almost got him convinced. It is a lot easier to do a screamer pipe. It's a bit of a pain in the bum to do a plumb back in. I would also recommend, if you're doing it from your wastegate, go wastegate like a 90 or 45 towards the dump pipe, and then put a little bit of flex. So you can get like a 2" flex pipe, or I think they're 1.5" or something. Flex pipe back into the dump because they're just really hard to put back together. So anyway, guys, that's the rundown of everything. This setup's probably good for 350 horsepower, something like that. Goelbys do sell a range of kits where you can get anything up to a 3582 or precision 76, 68. There's so many options. So there is a good selection of parts you can buy from there. You can buy all these things from these guys. He's just had mates that have stuff, so he's like, I'm just going to go and see what I can gather and see what I can do. So this is, the cheapest alternative is, pick parts out of your mate's sheds and make it from there, which is what I'm all about. If you can reuse something, reuse it, by all means. But if you're going full on and you want, the best setup, then definitely buy everything brand new, and then get the best bits of the best. So anyway, guys, I'll put a link in the video down to the website of Goelbys, and you can have a chat to the boys there and tell them the Shed King sent you. Say, I've watched this video, I'm going to do it. I want everything that needs to go for the turbo. Just say, look, I just want everything so I can just make it all up and make the kit myself, and then they'll send it all out to you. No dramas. Anyway, guys, take care and be safe.